If you're interested in learning more about BetAngel, its tools and the opportunities they present, then why not visit betangel.com today and download a free trial.
So we have released a new version of BetAngel, BetAngel version 147, always keen to keep the product moving forward and finding new ways to help you in the markets. And there are a number of changes on here, so I'll address each one of them bit by bit. But the first thing that we've changed is this staking. So if we look up here at the staking method, you'll see if you click on that, there are a number of different options now. So fixed stake is what you've been used to. So fixed stake derives the stake value from the ladder screen up here. So if I click up here, for example, you can see it's placed £10, or if I change it, you can see it's changed to 64. On the one-click screen, it's derived from this value over here. So the fixed stake here is £2 on the back and lay side. That's how the fixed stake works. That's been fairly common, and that remains pretty much exactly the same as you've been used to. Now, by tick size, what you actually do now is you'll notice there's no area to enter tick size. So if you want to stake by tick size, you actually nominate it from within your standard staking or one of these stakes. So if I clicked here, that would do a tick size of 1024. Don't really want to do that. A tick size of £1 is fine. So if I put a tick size of £1, then you can see this is basically saying if I back and lay with £20, I will make £1. So the tick size, really important to note, has changed in terms of the way that its behavior is inherited. There's no number to type in here. It derives it from your standard value. So really important to understand that it derives it from its standard value. If we did 10, can you see it's put in 200? So that's why I'm highlighting this to you. You don't want to click on there thinking you've got £10 you're staking with, when in fact it's much bigger. So by tick size derives the value that you select in the market. And it's the same on the one-click screen as well. You can see it says tick size 2 here. So if I click on something in the one-click screen, you can see that it's used a tick size or a stake appropriate to that tick size. So bear that in mind. Fixed stake is what most people use. If you want to use tick size, you would use it in that particular manner. Now what you can also do is you can back by liability or by book percentage as well. So it's probably best illustrated on the ladder, to be honest. So if we go up here and we go by liability, I'll select a stake, for example. So we'll select a stake of 100. And this is basically saying lay to a liability of 100 at this particular price on the ladder. So can you see it's actually put that. I've actually got global settings on, so let's just cancel and repeat that for a second. It will put that bet in the market according to what the actual odds are. So no longer is it related to the current odds. You can actually put it at different prices in the market, and it will adjust the stake according to the odds within the market itself. So that's quite a handy little feature. And it will do the opposite on the other side as well. So if you want to trade in and out between those two positions, you can select by liability back or lay, or you can just do a lay only liability. I'll explain the difference between those two there. So for example, if I click over here, you can see it adjusts the price, but if I click over here, you can see it doesn't. So lay only or back and lay will allow you to trade in and out of the market according to the odds that are available, and it will derive its stake from that value. So that's a very different way of staking that you may have been used to. You can do by liability on the lay side only, which is a feature we've had before, and you can do by liability back and lay, but you can also do by book percentage as well. So if, for example, you're trading tennis, cricket, or some other sport, it's very possible that you may want to do the book percentage on either side. And this is designed specifically for people who want to trade in and out of small runner markets, where it's probably more appropriate to stake by book percentage. Or perhaps you have a strategy that utilizes book percentage in a similar manner, and you can stake by that manner either. And that will apply in either the one-click or the ladder screen. And again, on the one-click screen, that amount is derived from the amount that you put in the staking area here. So the staking method has changed quite a bit, and you can leave it on fixed stake if you wish, or you can use any of these new options. You may want to play around with those, depending upon which sport you're trading and how you're attempting to trade it. Now let's say that you're not used to that type of staking at all, and you prefer to go back to the old way, and you have no need for those particular features. Click on Settings. I don't know if you saw me do that. Click on Settings, go to Staking, and then you can actually revert that back to what it looked like before. You can see it's all changed back the way that you are familiar and happy with. But it's up to you which way you want to do it. You can select either of those. So people who have been waiting for this feature to come along may want to use the new method. People who are familiar with the old stuff may go to the standard method. So I'm just going to switch it to the new method for the moment, so that you can see that in the background as we use the product in future. So the other thing you need to check out within the global settings is this facility that we have up here. It looks very familiar to what you've seen before, but say for example I want to do an offset bet and offset it by 1 tick. That looks exactly the same way as before. Remember, when you're on the ladder screen, this cog here with the cross through it means global settings are off. That means it's on. Off. On. And on the one-click screen you've got the same functionality from within there. So if we go in and do an offset bet by 1 tick, I'll just change that back down to £10. Let's put a position in there. Oh look, somebody's jumped in front of us, can't believe it. Not tempted to go with that. But basically when that position gets matched, it will offset the bet and put a closing order in at 3. It would lay it at 2.98, so BetAngel would go in and lay that at 3. And it's going to hold that order in the market for 30 seconds, and if it doesn't get filled within 30 seconds, which it doesn't look like it will, that order will be cancelled. Now what you can do on the new version as well is you can actually offset it by a percentage. So the percent derives its value from the entry price that you reach the market. And again, you can configure this through settings. So if we click on Settings and go to Staking, you can see here it says Percentage Offsetting. Calculate percentage from price, or price minus 1. So you can configure and change the way that the percentage offset is done. But the idea of the percentage offsetting and introducing that feature is if you're going to stake by book percentage or by liability and so on and so forth, then you need the ability to offset by a percentage as well. So that's why we've introduced that feature. You can trade as a percentage of the book or by liability, and you can offset it by a percentage now as well. And all of the standard features that you've done within here that you've been used to in the past will all work with that, offset with greening and so on and so forth. So yeah, you may want to have a play with that to have a look at it. And in fact, probably the best thing for me to do when we look at offsetting by a percentage is to do a bit of dobbing. If you don't know what dobbing is, just wait a few seconds and I'll explain on the next video. So let's put one of these new features to use here. What we can do is we're going to go for a bit of dobbing here. Dobbing stands for double or bust, and you would do that in play. So favourites being backed in here. It's funny, I can't help but look at this stuff and want to jump on things. But let's ignore that for the moment. I'm going to use global settings here. So we're going to go up, we're going to do offset with greening. Basically, when we place a position in the market, BetAngel will offset it in a profitable position, but in a position that's completely hedged across the entire market. We're going to offset that by 15, but we're not going to use ticks on this occasion. We're going to use a percentage. And in fact, if we want to dob, we need to use 50. So let's use 50%. Fill or kill bet while I wait for the orders to get filled. And we're going to use a fixed stake in this particular example. So if I click over here, by the way, make sure you've got global settings on the ladder when you do this. That's off, this is on. If I click over here, we put the first bet into the market, and then BetAngel offsets that particular bet by 50%. So you can see we've gone in at, what price do we get? 310. And BetAngel has offset the bet, and you can see it's a dob position. It's going to double or bust on this particular occasion. So we're going to carry this in play. There's about 30 seconds or so before the start of the race, and therefore we need to keep this bet. Keeping the bet means that it gets carried over from pre-off to in play, and if the price reaches 155, then our order is filled. So 155 is all the way down here at this particular moment. So we'll leave this position in the market and we'll wait and see what happens in play. So we've rejoined this race now just as the race has got underway. If we keep an eye on what's going on the favourite, it may be easy to do it on the one-click screen in all honesty, because the ladder is going to be flying up and down all over the place. So our target price is 155. It's currently at 264, 255. We're sort of heading, in that direction. It's only a 1 mile 2 furlong race, so 10 furlongs, and most of the activity tends to take place towards the end of a race. So when a race starts, you can't really read much into that, to be honest. We will just have to sit and wait until probably the last 3 furlongs to see if this order actually gets matched at this particular price. But if Shan Akara leads from the front and looks comfortable, it's got the near side rail at the moment and it's reasonably well positioned at the 6 furlong marker. So they obviously like where this horse is positioned. As long as it doesn't get boxed in as we come round that last corner, it's looking fairly comfortable at the moment. Too early to tell in this particular race. Particularly what's going to happen. Number 5 is getting jigged along a little bit. So number 5 is Utopian Dream. You can see the price has gone out in response to that. So Shankara is in 3rd at the moment, is going wide to attack down the outside. It's got plenty of room now if they want to run on. Beginning to feel a bit like a commentator here. And there you can see it's been matched. Just spiked in briefly. So we went in with a £10 stake. If we go back to the ladder, you can see we used £10 stake there. We offset it by 50%. We dobbed it, double or bust. And you can see that we've made a £10 profit regardless of who goes on to win this race. And Shankara looked like she was going to get it, but in fact it's Falcon Cliffs that has managed to hold its own on the near side rail, on the far side rail rather. And in fact Shankara finished 3rd near the end there. So despite the fact that Shankara didn't win, we managed to double our money.